All right, guys, it's 5 on the dot on a lovely Monday afternoon. Pleasant good evening, everyone. My name is Andrea Crosby. You would have met me via email over the past few weeks, and now you can put a face to the email address. I just want to welcome everyone. Thank you for taking the time off to spend your afternoon with us. Today we have a really awesome session for you guys. I want to take time out to welcome all the new participants as well. And of course, re-welcoming those who would have joined us over the last 3 to 4 weeks. So we would have touched on entrepreneurial mindset, setting financial goals, pricing for profit, managing your cost flow. But today we're going to touch on a really important topic, record keeping, right? We can't stress this enough. This is extremely important. All right. So before we get into the action, let me just touch on a few house rules. We just kindly ask that you remain muted, and we will have a designated time to address all your questions. But if you have any burning issues, feel free to submit it via our chat box. Also, I hope everybody had the makeup done, the guys cut up the hair, and everybody well dressed. Because, feel free to turn on your cameras if you want to, engage us. We would like to engage you as well. So feel free. Let's see those beautiful faces. All right. We have a jam-packed session, so let's get right into it. I'm going to introduce you to two lovely women who are going to be our facilitators this afternoon. You all may have been familiar with her. She has been on all the sessions. But for the new persons, we have Miss Adana Austin, who is a business coach and marketing consultant with her own business, Marketing Dynamics Business Solutions. She manages an enthusiastic Facebook group of over 4,000 entrepreneurs called Dynamic Business Strategists. Adana conducts training for numerous businesses across the country, and she touches on some really pertinent topics, such as specific to business like leadership, growth strategies, women in business, and cultivating a business mindset. So everyone, please, let's welcome Adana. That's our first facilitator. We have as well joining us today, Mrs. Laddie Franklin, who is a certified value builder advisor, entrepreneurial thought and action educator, as well as a financial literacy consultant and educator. She plays a vital role in medium, small, and micro entrepreneurs as a micro and small entrepreneurship educator through her ongoing work as a coach at Good Works Coaching and Consulting. All right, so those are the two very capable hands. Everyone will be on today, but we would like to kick off with Mrs. Laddie Franklin first. All right, Laddie, you're on the floor. Take it away. Hi, Laddie. We're not hearing you.
Yes.
Right.
Can you hear me now?
Nice.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you
perfect.
so much, Andrea, for that introduction. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Good evening, Adana, Trishana, and everyone else on this platform. Okay, I am here this evening to talk about record keeping, as Andrea has mentioned, and this, as she said, is a very important topic. If you own a business, you cannot ignore records. It's as simple as that. That's just how important it is. I would always say that business is all about making money, right? It's not that money is an end to itself. There are things that the money is used to do, but however, if business is not making money, right, then it can't survive. So business is all about making money. And so if business is all about making money, what is more important than having a proper system to manage that money, right? And that's just how important this topic is. And really, from day one that you have a business, you're supposed to have a record keeping system in place, or you're supposed to start keeping your records. So, what I want to do this evening is to really have us understand the what financial record keeping is, because many times, we just have, a partial picture of what it's about, and most we would definitely be looking at why is it important for your small business, why should you keep proper records, right? We'll be looking at types of financial records, we'll be looking at the principles of financial record keeping, uh, and then we'll also be looking at some form of single entry or basic record keeping. The reason why we'll be keeping it like that is not just because you all are not accountants, but also because of the length of time that we have on hand, right? So we have to maximize with the time. So that's what we are going to cover this evening. But I want to start. It's always important to know what we are really talking about. What is record keeping? Now, financial record keeping is actually about an act and a practice. It's the act and the practice of capturing and writing down all transactions of your business. Now, what is a transaction? A transaction is anything that concerns money coming in or money going out of your business. That's what you call a transaction. And so that is what it is. And when we talk about record keeping, it's about capturing this record and storing them in a very orderly and disciplined manner, right? And record keeping, depending on your type of business, it can range from the simple to the complex type of record keeping. Whatever it is, no matter what the size of your business is, you have to keep records. And it has this record, it's a consistent practice in the sense that you have to update it on an ongoing basis. So that's what record keeping is. Now, record keeping, I would typically say that it's not an end to itself, it's a means to an end, right? And it's important to understand that, because if you understand the ends of record keeping, it will perhaps, lighten the burden a bit, because most of the time, in my experience, this is what an area that entrepreneurs are not comfortable with. Not only are they not comfortable with it, they are also they don't look forward to it that much. But so it's important for you to know what are the ends. The end basically of record keeping is to facilitate fast and easy retrieval of your records. And why do you need to have that happen? So that you can generate critical information that you can use to improve the operation of your business. Everybody here that has a business, I'm sure, wants to improve the condition of your business. You want to increase revenue, you want to decrease costs, you want to scale, you want to do all kinds of things. And I want to tell you that a lot of that has to do with the way you keep your records. All right. And record keep, another end also is that this is used to inform others, other users. There are other users of your records that are very, very important as well. And if you don't have records, those users will not be able to help your business. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, shortly. So, what is record keeping? We are still talking about it. I would say it's a process, right? We've already said it's about you looking at the transactions of your business and capturing them, right? But it's not just capturing it, it's also when you capture them, recording them and saving the records. And then it goes on to you consolidating or someone helping you to consolidate and to review the records for critical information that is needed for your business, right? And the final part of record keeping is acting on the information that you retrieve from the records that you kept. So you can see it's an entire process, all right? And typically what you will notice with small business is that we'll have, because of our partial understanding, we'll do some parts and leave some parts out, or there are some parts that involve us. For instance, the capturing of the transactions. Really and truly, there's nobody who can help you with that. You are supposed to be on top of things with that. But sometimes we think that it is everything that we need for a bookkeeper. So that's what record keeping is in a nutshell. And I hope I've been able to just provide in just these few words the scope of it. But so far we've been talking about how important it is for a small business to keep records. And I know everybody here really knows that, right? But it's let's just reaffirm. Let's just affirm the importance. Let's look a little bit more as to why you must keep records, why it's it's a critical part of the success of your business. First and foremost, without good records, it's not possible for you to practice good money management. Now, the thing about it is that most of us, we know how to cut the hair, we know how to cook, we know how to do the technical side of the business, but the management side, especially the critical money management aspect of it, we don't know how to do that, and we go and start a business. All right. So record keeping is very core to management, and it's one of the critical management functions if you're going to run a successful business. And it's also going to help you to make some very powerful decisions for your business. All right. And, as we were saying, is a means to an end. You'll be able to keep proper controls in your business. Without records, there's no way you can keep proper controls for your business, and controls are very, very essential. I always say that record keeping and financial management is like the roof of your house. If you do not put proper roofing, things can fly in and take away things. All right, and you will not notice. Okay, until the damage is already done. Record keeping is also, it helps you to determine the true financial condition and profitability of your business. Unfortunately, this is what I see with a lot of, entrepreneurs. We would be looking at the sales and the revenue, and just have a big idea of, okay, our business is doing good. But with no proper records, you really cannot be sure, that yes, your business is financially healthy, your business is profitable. Many times when you really start keeping proper records, that's when you know if it's profitable, to what extent is it profitable, right? You're able to also use your records, to make powerful decisions as to what kind of, which are your products, which ones are most scalable, right? For you to be able to focus on those ones the most, but without those records, you will not know. Now, I'm spending a lot of time on this because I know that going this way, I have been able to motivate a lot of entrepreneurs to really start paying very good attention to their records. And it's simply because we don't know what it can do for us. Another thing that records can do for your financial records, do for you, they are properly kept, is that it will help you, like I said, to measure the progress of your business. If you don't keep proper records, you cannot measure your business progress. And I always say that if you cannot measure the progress, you cannot manage it. And if you cannot manage something, or you cannot manage your business properly, it will not succeed, right? So very, very critical, right? Then keeping your records also helps you to plan. There is so much, uncertainty in business that as much as possible, as much as gleaning that we can glean to help our business in terms of planning, the better for us. We cannot continue to spin around in uncertainty, right? And there's a lot of, like I said, it's a fast-moving pace environment, the market environment. And as much as possible, you need to, have a grasp of things in terms of planning. So, for instance, when we talk about planning from your records, you'll be able to know, okay, how much cash will I have on hand, and how much cash is going to be tied up in other things, So, and when is this going to happen? From your records, you'll be able to tell this story from what your numbers are saying. You'll be able to predict and plan, right? What are going to be your obligations to creditors? How much will you owe, and what are you owing? Goods, rent, operating expenses, which types? From your records. Now it looks as if, yeah, these things we know, right? But you'll be amazed that sometimes we forget a lot of things because we're not keeping records, and things happen to us, and we now, are caught unawares, because we did not plan for those types of things. How much are you going to pay in wages and salaries, especially if you have employees? These are things that you still also have to plan for, and these are derived from your records, right? And it's important as well to keep records because it makes it quicker and easier for you to prepare your accounts at year end, right? You need to be able to have your accounts, like your identify your gross and your net profit, your balance sheet, your profit and loss, right? And it is once your records have been in place, they have been properly kept, it becomes easier and it becomes quicker to be able to prepare the statements. All right, perhaps in another session you understand those statements and what those statements mean to your business. By now you know that when you go for a loan, you would most likely be asked to provide some kind of financial records, right? So it makes it easier for you if you have been keeping proper records for you to be able to present whatever records the financial institution is asking for. It also helps you to avoid, certain situations like overpaying or even underpayment of taxes, right? So you are able from your records, if you keep proper records, you are able to pay tax, pay it accurately, pay it on time, avoid penalties. It's a great thing that we have, grace periods and all those types of things. But you don't have to and be involved in that type of pressure, that typically small business owners get involved with once in a while, if you have been keeping proper records. And it also helps you, of course, if you keep proper records, you'll be able to maximize the expenses that you claim from BIR and reduce your tax obligations. If you do not keep a record, it did not happen, and every record that is not kept as far as, BIR will know is a loss deduction. All right, so you need to be on top of things regarding your taxation. Now, I have.
Hi,
Yes.
Maddie, 1 second. A few persons are asking if you can kindly speak a bit louder so that they
Okay.
can hear you.
All
Yes.
right. Okay.
Sorry to
All right.
interject. Yeah.
Is my voice louder now?
Guys, is she sounding a lot better? You can put a thumbs up. Nice.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks,
All
guys.
right. Okay. I'll try to keep it loud. I'll try to raise my voice. And as we talk about record keeping, I know entrepreneurs struggle a lot with this. And I've seen, as a result of not just the struggling, I've seen a lot of poor record keeping habits. And as we have this session, it will be useful for you to really, I decided to talk about some of them, just in case it applies to you. Hopefully there's nobody on this platform, with some of these poor record keeping habits. But these are signs of poor record keeping. If, for instance, there's no separation between your business and your personal finances, that is a sign of poor record keeping. All right, because they are supposed to be separate, and we are going to talk about it. I believe Adana will talk about it. We'll talk about it in another session before this whole month is over, right? And I have seen situations where if the records are being kept, the transactions are not being kept in a proper manner. All right, there are inaccuracies, there are inconsistencies, there are errors, right? So I see a lot of that, and I also see where entrepreneurs are not keeping copies of their actual bills, the receipts, the invoices, check stubs, all those proofs of transactions. I see where, many times entrepreneurs are a bit careless with some of those things, and those are all the proofs of your transactions and the basis of your records. All right, so those are some of the things I've seen. I've also seen, you would see improper planning and poor decision making coming out of or as a result of poor record keeping, right? And when you, and even just last week here, I saw, a condition. It's coming out of improper record keeping. It was an entrepreneur unable to pay, their creditors, and this is actually causing a problem in the business right now, and it could have just have been addressed. The entrepreneur was actually saying how they did not know, from the because of the poor records, they were not aware of the extent to which they were obligated to this creditor. You also have cash flow problems, arising from record keeping. Sometimes I've seen cash flow problems that I can identify. I can link directly to poor record keeping. Then you see also inability to pay for critical, important things in the business that are critical for the business. You have trouble accessing, additional funding, from financial institutions. I've seen people who really deserve the funding. They have great products and services, but because of poor records, they were not able to get financing. And I have also seen instances where entrepreneurs were not displaying that they don't really know which product is selling at a loss, which one is which are the profitable ones, and how the profitable ones are financing the losses of the ones that are not profitable. All right, so a lot of these types of signs are what you can see that you can link often to poor record keeping. But all in all, the consequences of bad record keeping are very, very dire and very urgent. And if you really want your business to succeed, you have to understand that poor record keeping affects you financially. It affects productivity even. For instance, when you and your employees waste time looking for lost records, rather than you working, right? You lose time out in efficiency, and also you ultimately cut your bottom line because the time, time is money. The time you should use, doing productive things for your business, you're busy looking for records. A lot of that happened in the last 3 months. I saw a lot of that. All right, and there are legal, implications as well, and I'll talk about that briefly. Right. When I have already identified that record keeping is all about, you capturing and recording your business transactions in an organized manner. And I talked about business transactions being anything that involves money going in and out of your business. All right. So, but let's look at what basic business transactions are. So you have your sales. Typically, you have sales, you have expenses or what you call purchases, you have inventory, you have bank transactions, you have transactions that involve employees, like personnel, payroll, and so on. You also have accounts receivable if you have, those types of transactions going on in your business. You also have accounts payable if you have those types of transactions going on in your business, right? And you will also have contracts. Contracts are also financial transactions because they involve money, and those are important records that you need to capture as well. And you also have, I would consider customer records as also important business transactions, because your customer list will be able to help you to identify, your customers, especially the various types of customers that you have. And it depends on how you want to store those customer records. So we are moving towards keeping your records right now, right? And one of the things that you would need to do if you want to keep your records is, first of all, assess the needs, your record keeping needs, because businesses vary. All right, we vary in both in terms of size, we vary even in our industry types, and there are different forms of record keeping requirements sometimes according to the industry that you come from. So the very first step is for you to evaluate your record keeping needs based on the type of business that you have, and you could consult your bookkeeper or your accountant, to help you, in terms of this assessment. But basically, it's really assessing what forms of transactions take place in your business. Let's not forget, anything involving money leaving your business, money coming in your business is a transaction. All right. So, what are those types of transactions? And then what forms of records are relevant to your industry, relevant to your own type of business? I believe that you should be even the person who should most determine, who should be the best person to determine what type of records are best for you. And then another thing to consider is also who are going to be the users of your records. right? So what type of interactions would you have? What kind of partnerships would you have, right? And what would they need to see, from your financial records? We know basically the most important that we know are the statutory obligations, which is the taxes, all right? And we need to be familiar with that, okay? And by the way, the information that we give here on this platform, I believe it provides you with a foundation for you to be able to do some more on your own, read up on your own, some more on your own, consult your bookkeeper and your accountant to be able to really get more information, building on what we have shared this evening. Now, we talk about transactions, we understand transactions already, right? And when we are looking at record keeping, it basically starts with capturing the proof of transactions. So we talked about sales. Sales are transactions. So how would you know what are sales records? Sales records will include things like invoices, payments received, and so on, depending on how you capture it. Expense records will include purchases, purchase bills, purchase orders, receipts, however you receive them in your business. Bank records will include bank statements. Now, these days you have e-bank statements, right? Because they don't give the physical ones anymore. You have checkbooks, you have stubs, you have deposit books, you have slips. All of those are proof of your bank records. Then you also have employee information, like I said, the type of your personnel, the personnel that you have in your business, the role, payroll, and even, their medical and all those other benefits that you provide for them. All of those are part of proof of your transactions. So, like I said, the first part is understanding, assessing your own record keeping needs, and then also understanding what the proof of your records is and ensuring that you're capturing the proof of those records. Now, there are some types of transactions that may not have proof, but you can typically what you will do is to write them down to ensure, and we'll talk about that in a little while, to ensure that it's just basically saying something happened, money left my business or money came into my business, and it needs to be recorded. And as we talk about recording, it is very, very important that this is done not just in an organized manner, it is also done in a manner that is accurate and with limited errors. So you have to ensure first and foremost that all the transactions are captured. Not all, some are not left out, as I've seen sometimes. All right, sometimes we forget to take a receipt. Sometimes we forget to, have an invoice, and all of those things are very, very important. You also have to ensure that things like carbon paper is correctly placed so that you have your own copy of transactions. Sometimes, it's not correctly placed and the writing is no longer clear for you to be able to track that transaction came in, happened in your business. You also have to ensure that, the receipts, the invoices, and all other documents that are recording proof of transactions is properly signed for those that are required to be signed, right? You also have to ensure that the signatures are appended to any corrections that there may be on these proofs of transactions, all right? You append the signatures, or alternatively, you may use another receipt. But all in all, you want to make sure that you also write clearly, you also write legibly, because again, these are proof of transactions, money coming into your business and money leaving your business. So, like I mentioned earlier on, we are going to be looking at, how you record your transactions. And if we are going to be looking at a very basic format, a single entry, and it is simply just to be able to drive home, what you need to consider in terms of recording your business transactions. So let's take sales. What are you recording in regarding your sales transactions? It's all about recording what you sell, how much you sell per day, per week, per month, and those records should include the date of the sale, the description of the product or the service that was sold, and the amount of each sale. All right. Basically, this is the information that you will capture, in terms of your sales transactions. And it really cuts across all forms of your transactions, because every transaction would happen, on a particular date. There will be an amount attached to it, right? And then there will be a description of what exactly happened. Okay, so it's not as difficult as that, once you have your proof of transactions, right? In terms of your
Laddie,
expense,
hi.
yes,
Just checking in. Five
yes,
five more minutes. All right, and we have
yes.
one question when you're finished. So 5 more minutes,
Okay,
Laddie.
we have 5 more minutes. Okay, all right. Expenses. Here you are recording the total amount of your business expenses, like for instance, your supplies, rent, electricity, salaries, vehicle expenses. That's what you're recording. Again, what are you recording? The date the expense took place, the description of the expense, and the amount that was expense, right? And the method also that you use to pay, it could be cash, it could be check, it could be credit card. You are also recording that, because you are describing what happened in terms of money leaving your business. What about bank transactions? You're looking at, the details of all your accounts with the bank, such as your checking, your savings, your credit cards, your investment accounts. All of those need to be recorded. And the important part of recording your bank transactions is to enable you to compare your bank statements to your financial records, right? For instance, your sales deposits, your purchases, your cash withdrawals, and you want to review them to make sure there are no potential mistakes or discrepancies with your bank statements. If your bank statements don't match with your records, there may be an error in your books, such as some cash transactions that are unaccounted for. So that's what you are recording. Then you may have inventory, and that one is depending on the type of inventory you have. Again, it's all about capturing what happened or what is happening with your inventory. When was the date it was purchased? What is the stock number of item that was purchased? What was the purchase price? When was the inventory sold? What was the sale price? That is also something that you need to capture. Now, you may be owing people, or people may be owing you in your business, depending on the type of transactions, if you have those types of transactions. So if people owe you in your business, is what you call accounts receivable, and you have to have an accounts receivable log, and this is a record listing the money that people owe to you. And this record should include the list of customers who owe you, how much they owe you, and when that payment is due. And for each record, you're including the date, the customer name, the amount, the date it's collected, and the status of that accounts receivable. You should also keep a list of customers actually who should not be provided credit. I have some entrepreneurs doing that. Accounts payable, and this is where you, the business owner, you are owing somebody, or you're owing other businesses. Just like the accounts receivable, you have to include how much is owed, whom you owe, when the payment is due, and the date that you paid it. Again, this is all about having an accounts payable log. Now, I know that the time is far gone, but I really want to quickly end with your record keeping tools, right? It could be simple as paper tools like copybooks, sales and purchase books, which you can get from stationery stores. It could be, paper that you write on and you store in files, hanging folders, or even the accordion folders that you can find in some of the stores. Then you may decide to store your records in a computer, for instance, most likely an Excel spreadsheet. I find this very, very effective and yet very simple for small business owners. It's faster and it's easier. And from Excel, you can get a range of templates such as invoices. You can generate sales receipts, expense tracking reports, sales reports, cash flow projections you can make out of Excel. The only limitation is that these records are, they are individual workbooks, and they are not combined to provide you with full reports like with some other software. And it's important for you to back up the files. Then you also have accounting software that you could use, to organize your records. And these are those that are free, they are cloud-based. Quite a few of them exist out there. So you have the Wave Accounting, you have ZipBook Starter, you have Accounting or Accounting, depending on how you call it, and Zoho Books. These are free software, even though they may have some limitations, but they are literally very effective for small and micro businesses. So to end, make sure you choose a system that is easy for you to operate and complements your business, and use what works best for you. I want to also say that there's a record keeping mindset, and that mindset is that understand that is critical to your business, and be determined that, this is one of the key steps I'm going to take for my business success. Understand the record keeping is not an end to itself, and the primary user of your records should be yourself. All right. And start now if you have not started. The best time is now. All right. Don't leave it too late. Okay. So, Adana, sorry, Andrea.
Thank you.
I
Yes,
hope I'm
Larry.
being.
Thank you very much for that. Very informative, very enlightening, very detailed presentation. I'm sure everyone is quite pleased. Persons would have been taking their notes. We can't thank you enough. Now we have a question from Taste Empire. Would you like to ask Ladi the question very quickly before we move on to Adana?
Thank you. Good evening, Miss Laddie.
Sure.
Thanks very much for the opportunity. I actually do my own record keeping. I am a very small business. I do my personal record keeping via books and invoices with receipts, etc. But these receipts, they don't have a lifespan. After maybe a month, sometimes the ink disappears. I heard you say that you should write them. So do I individually write everything? Because I also do Wave, but Wave is no longer compatible in the Caribbean. So if you don't
Yeah.
mind, can you repeat the options that you gave just now, please? You were saying Wave and some
Well,
other stuff.
I mentioned one like accounting is spelled Akauntting, right? And you still have the Zoho books. I mean, like I said, there are limitations, but you could still glean some things. I mean, some that you can use to really help you to keep your business. Now, in terms of the receipts and the lifespan, you're right. A lot of entrepreneurs encounter that problem, and within a short time, your price match receipt can just be very plain, but what you would do, some people scan it and store it in the computer, but you could also write on it. As far as I'm concerned, once the very day you get that receipt, you write on it, you write what it's all about exactly, right? You're putting down in proper ink that you can be able to read later. My problem is make sure that your handwriting is something that you can read, because I have seen people write something and then later on they say, "What is that?" And I will say, "Well, you wrote it." So make
Well,
sure
I
that.
actually do that, but what I don't do is write the individual amount. I would usually write the date and the
Yes,
total amount.
yes.
So is it that I have to do the individual amount as opposed to doing the total amount so that I can still glean from the record?
I didn't
What do
get the
you suggest?
question.
Do I do an individual record keeping of each bill, or as I do normally right now, I would write the total amount on each receipt and the date?
Well, it depends on what works for you. If when you say, I'm trying to understand what you mean. Is it that you are taking each individual or you are gathering them together and you are totaling them? Is that what you mean? I'm just trying to understand the question.
Okay, I'm sorry if I keep an on your back. I
That's
would
okay.
usually,
Miss Taste,
well,
Taste
I
Empire.
am in mhm,
I'm really
after,
sorry to kind of
yeah, okay.
to kind of cut you, but in the interest of time, we want to really pass on the mic to Adana. She has a lot of information to share as well, and we are a bit pressed for time. So if we could hold the questions until after, and let's give Adana the floor. Welcome, Adana.
So thank you so much, Laddie, because that was such good information. It was a lot of information in 35 minutes, but it was information that we all need, right? So we learned that keeping clear records, we have to keep clear records of our income, our expenses, our employees, our tax documents, all the comings and ins and outs of our business. Tell me how many of you in the comments are actually keeping records right now. Are y'all keeping records right now? Just say yes or no in the comments to me. Yes or no. Let's get this up and put on your cameras. I want to see your faces. I want to see your faces. Put on your camera so that we can interact. Please put on your cameras. Yeah. How many of you are actually keeping records, right? The importance of keeping these records is for peace of mind, to help you monitor your progress towards your goals and save you time and actually saves you money. Guys, remember I keep saying to you, all of these sessions are intertwined, right? Nothing is standalone, and what you learned from before factors into what we're teaching you now, right? So we talk about pricing for profit. We talked about your money goals, your money mindset. All of those things are all tied into your record keeping, because your money mindset affects your record keeping. Yeah. And so all of these records are really important in your business, but there are some other records that we don't usually talk about. And I am going a little to the left because Laddie gave us such an in-depth definition of financial record keeping and why they're so important, because we're all here to make money. Yes, in the comments, are we here to make money, guys? Are we here to make money? And the way we make money, right? The way we make money is how we set up our business. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and then you will see why I'm asking you these questions, and I'll explain to you the other side of record keeping that we don't generally talk about so much, but it's tied into your financial record keeping. So just tell me yes or no in the comments, or give me some thumbs and some hearts, right? Can you tell me, because we're all in business here, we're all starting businesses, right? We've been in business, we're on our social media platforms and stuff. Can you tell me which information you have shared with your audience in the last 3 months that got them the most excited? Can you pinpoint that off the top of your head? What piece of information that you shared with your audience over the last 3 months that got them the most excited? Can anybody tell me that off the top of their head? Come in the comments. Second question. Can you tell me what product was a bestseller 3 months ago? Which one of your products or which one of your offerings was a bestseller 3 months ago? Not 3 days ago, not 3 hours ago, 3 months ago. Yes, which ones? Tell me in the comments. Cheesy garlic bread. Sue. Yes, reopening of the business. Lovely. Tell me, can you tell me which one of your videos, for those of you who do videos in your business, right? And you should be doing videos, and we'll talk more about that next week in our marketing and sales session. But which one of your videos has gotten the most views, has actually gone viral, who has gotten lots of eyes on it? Which one of your videos has gotten the most views? Tell me in the comments. We're having a conversation. Put on your cameras, guys. Let me see your face. Which one of your videos got the most views? Yes? Tell me now. Next question. On average, how many people have signed up to your email list in the last month? On average, how many people have signed up to your email list in the last month? For those of you who have an email list, and if you do not have an email list, you are leaving money on the table, right? As an entrepreneur, we all need to have an email list. How many, on average, how many people have signed up to your email list in the last month? Can you tell me in the comments? No email list? Parata. My weak point is that, yes, need a list then. 6, lovely, good, good, good. I'm liking the and no email, but got 30 plus people on IG. Yeah. And how we moving them from IG? Very good. Final question. Can you tell me which 3 questions your audience asks you the most? Give me one of those questions in the comments. Can you tell me any 3 questions which your audience asks you the most? Tell me in the comments. What questions do they ask you the most? Size available, my discount. Red. Right. Why do you think I'm asking you those questions, guys? Why do you think I'm asking you those questions? Because all of these answers are records that you also have to keep in your business. And they're tied into your financial records because these things affect your money. These things affect, right, how you price. These things affect how you show up and how you ask for the sale. You understand, guys? So this is the other side of record keeping that we don't talk about so much. You all understand that? Yes? So what do you think are some types of records besides the financials, which are so important? The money coming in, the money going out, how much you're paying your employees, how much you're paying for your mortgage and all those things, right? What other type of records do you think that we have to keep? Tell me in the comments. And I'm saying this to you because a lot of times when we go on these programs, these entrepreneurial programs, right, we do not talk about these type of records. We do not talk about these type of records. We talk about the financial aspects of record keeping, which is very important. But it's not the only type of records you should be keeping as an entrepreneur. And these records that I'm going to talk about affect your finances. They're all tied in, they're not separate and apart. So what type of records do you think that we should also be keeping in addition to our financial records? And let me say this other thing for you as well. As an entrepreneur, right, as Laddie said, sometimes we get so busy in the working of our business that we forget to keep our records, right? We forget to write things down, or we forget to record them. What I would suggest to you, and I'm telling you this up front, is to choose a day to do your record keeping. Choose a day. We do it in my business, we do it every Monday morning. We choose a day where we look at all of the money we've made, all of the money we've paid out, and all the other kind of records that we keep in our business. So let me see the comments. What other type of records do you think you need to keep? Card, gas bill, business stock, client list, data analytics, scribe. Good. Nice. So let's talk about it. I have 8, right? And these things may shock you. I want you to write them down. You need to keep a record of your content. What is your content? Your content is the information that you're sharing with your audience. The content is whatever you're putting out there, whether it's on your social media, your emails, your blogs, whatever words or phrases come from your business, that is your content, and you need to keep a record of your content. And I'll tell you why you need to keep a record of it after, right? You need to keep a record of your content. The second thing you need to keep a record of, you need to keep a record of your videos. For those of you who are doing videos, and if you're not doing videos, you need to start doing your videos now, right? Keep a record of your videos. Yeah. The other thing you want to keep a record of, you want to keep a record of your email subscribers. A lot of you don't have an email list, you'll have a WhatsApp list, but WhatsApp can go down, your social media can go down. Your email, yes, can go down, but hardly likely, right? And you have much more control of your email than your social media, right? So you need to keep a record of the people who are signing up to your email and even the people who are leaving. And as Laddie said, and she made a really good point, and I laughed when she said it, you need to keep a record of those people who you don't want to work with either. Because we don't want them in our space, right? Those are not your ideal clients. So you need to keep a record of who those people are as well. You want to keep a record of how many visits you get to your website. That's number 4. Your website visits or your website visitors, right? Looking at your analytics and stuff like that. You want to keep a record of number 5, the questions your audience asks. There are certain questions your audience will ask of you over and over and over. You want to keep a record of what those questions are. Yeah. Number 6, you want to keep a record of any appearances that you do. So whether you appear in radio, on radio, in TV, in the newspaper, in a podcast, or you are a guest blogger, or you are wherever you are, right? You want to keep a record of that. Right? Number 7, you want to keep a record of all of your milestones, big and small. So you want to keep a record of when I first started my email list, when I first started my website, the first time I went live, the first time I registered my business, the first $1,000 that I made, the first time I made $10,000 in a month. You want to keep a record of your milestones and the milestones of your clients if that's the type of business that you have. Yes? And the final thing is you want to keep a record of your processes and procedures. Yes, you want to keep a record of your processes and your procedures. So I just gave you 8 things you need to keep a record of, right? Your content, your videos, your emails, email subscribers, your website clicks or visitors, questions your audience asks you over and over, the most important questions that they ask, your appearances in media, your traditional media, that is, milestones, big and small, and your clients' milestones as well, and your processes and procedures. Those are 8 other records that you should also be keeping. Tell me in the comments, how many of you are keeping records of any of those things? And which one of them are you keeping a record of? Tell me in the comments, guys. Setting up your email, repeat number 3, contact of clients. I have a few. Yes, feedback is integral. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who says all 8? Who says all 8? Yes. Video and content so far, 1, 5, and 7 says Rhonda. Video content, record of processes, some of my milestones. Good, guys. So you have begun, and that's a good start. You have begun, right? But you should be really, really paying attention to these records that I'm telling you because they tie into your finances. Let me tell you why you need to keep these records, right? You want to keep these records so that, let's talk about your content, so that you can repurpose your content, right? What do I mean by repurposing your content? There is certain content that you will put out, certain messages, certain images that you would use, certain trainings or certain tips and resources that you will share with your audience that is going to be valid 6 months from now, 2 years from now. It's still going to be valid. You want to keep a record of that type of content so that you can share it over and over and over again because it never gets old. And the concept is that new people are always following you. You're always going to be attracting new people, right? So even though you shared it 6 months ago, the new set of people who are now following you or found your website or found you may not have heard that content. Yeah, so you want to keep a record of that content so that you can use it over and over again. Yeah, so you don't have to keep on reinventing the wheel. and waking up every Monday morning and say, oh my God, what am I going to share with my audience today? What am I going to say today in my video? What am I going to send in my email? Yeah. You want to keep those records so that you can decide when you're doing your inventory or your audit of your business, just like how you do an audit of your finances, you can decide what is working and what is not working. Yeah. If you have a record of what has gone out, what programs, what, as Laddie said, what programs sold the most, what programs sold the least, you can make better decisions about what is working and what is not working in your business. That affects your finances, guys. Yeah. So you want to keep these records so you can plan out each quarter and your profit margins. When I'm doing planning with my clients, I like them to do 90-day goals, right? 90 days, 33 months, 12 weeks. They're easy to see, right? And you have more control of 90 days as opposed to a goal that is 12 months long. Yeah. And if you have a record of your videos, you have a record of your content, your website hits, your emails, your questions, then as you plan your quarter and you plan how much profit you want to make, it's easier for you to make those decisions because you have recorded the information. Make sense so far? Give me a thumbs up if it's making sense. Give me some thumbs up if it's making sense, guys. Thumbs up if it's making sense. That's what you need time. You also want to keep these records so you have social proof to show to your clients if you are pitching to organizations. So part of my business, I pitch to a lot of organizations to do trainings and workshops and that kind of stuff. But I have social proof because I have testimonials. I can show my milestones. I can show my videos and that kind of thing so that they can see that I have been working and I didn't just come out from somewhere and decide to pitch to them. Yeah. The other reason you want to keep these records is so that you can manage your growth and make informed decisions about how your business is going to move forward. Yeah. And finally, you want to record these things because so that when you hire staff, you have a manual for them to follow. So this is where processes and procedures are. Yeah, so when you hire staff, because hiring staff is how you also grow your business. Yeah, you will have a manual so that they can actually follow. Making sense? Yes. A lot of this information you can literally save in an Excel sheet, right? I love Excel. A lot of this information you can save in an Excel sheet. Your videos and stuff you can save in your hard drives and stuff like that. Get them off your phones in case your phones crash. Save them in your Google Drives or get an external drive and save them because they may be a little bigger and that kind of thing. But you want to save this information for future use. But a lot of this information that I'm giving you, you can actually save in an Excel sheet. As I said, in my business, my assistant and we do record keeping every single Monday morning, and we record the number of visitors to our email, the number of hits to our website, the content that did really well, if I had any appearances in podcasts, or if I did any guest blogging. We record our milestones. We look at the money that has come in, the money that has gone out. We use wave accounting as well, and we make sure that everything is recorded. We record all our invoices, we record all our payments that we receive. Guys, this is so important for you, whether you're now starting off in business or if you've been in business 2 to 5 years or even more. Every entrepreneur, it does not matter if you are a product-based entrepreneur or a service-based entrepreneur, record keeping can make or break your business. And you have to get into the habit of keeping really, really good records for your business from day one, not 6 months later, not 6 years later, from day one, because it saves you a lot of headache. It saves you a lot of time and money, And that record keeping is going to help you scale your business a lot faster than if you were not keeping any records at all. You understand, guys? Tell us if you have any questions in the comments. Let's answer some questions.
Donna, we have one specific question again from Taste Empire, and she wants to know if she has an email, how do you go about setting up an email subscription? I think you spoke to that. So
okay, and that's something we're going to cover next week because that's a process. We'll cover that in our marketing and sales session next week, Monday. Yeah, because that is a process in itself, and that might take me about 50 minutes to walk you through, right? But the point is you can use a system like MailerLite or MailChimp. They are free, and you set up what we call an email opt-in, and you give your clients some piece of valuable information in exchange for their email address. And once you start to collect those email addresses, you just continue to share valuable information with the people who have signed up with your email. How do I separate my personal finance and my business? Again, we'll do that, Natasha, in our commingling series, in our commingling session. So we'll dive much deeper into that.
We have one other question from Risha Allen. She asked, is there any record keeping program compatible even with agribusinesses like farms, agro-processing, etc.? So
I am not familiar with agribusiness. Aladi, can you answer that?
Ladi, yeah.
You're on mute. I think you're on mute. You're muted, Ladi.
Yes, I think that there are some that will be specific to agribusiness and some types of agricultural businesses, and again, I did something that I would really prefer, to draw that information from the right source to be able to give to you. The information we're giving this evening is general. However, I can provide Adana with that information, or Andrea, or whoever. We can put it in the slides that you will get later on.
Yes, so send it to Andrea.
Yes, because I do know an agro processor that is using is various types that she's using right now. I've forgotten the name of one right off my head, but just about 3 weeks ago we were discussing it. So yes, there are some specific types of record keeping software that you could use, or programs that you can use specific to your type of business.
Good.
All right, great. Kellyanne asked, if records are to be done manually, what are the basic books and entries to be made till it can be externally sourced professionally? I think, Ladi, this is for you because you specifically touched on it.
Yes.
Yes, right. You could use from just a simple copybook, because I know quite a lot of people that are using copybooks, right? And like I said, there are different types of record keeping books in the stationery stores. You get sales books, you get purchase books, you get even
petty cash books.
Petty cash books. So you have quite a number of them, and I think they are pretty simple for you to utilize and apply to your business.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, any other questions, comments? Even if you have feedback for us, you can put your thumbs up, your hearts, your claps, your whatever.
Yeah, tell us if you have any questions. I think I saw somebody ask about, I saw a question just now. I think it went up. Stand up and can you recap the point? Let me just recap the points really quickly for you before we close off. So the 8 records that I mentioned was a record of your content, a record of your videos, your email subscribers, your website visits, questions your audience asks of you, your appearances, whether it's TV, radio, press, podcast, blog, whatever that is, a record of your milestones, both big and small, and finally, a record of your processes and procedures.
Thanks, Adana.
No problem. The last, what Lynette said just now, um, the last
The
few
last as you were
points.
closing, yes, the last few points you made is what she
Adana,
was
Yes.
specifically referencing.
Natasha here.
Hi, Natasha.
You spoke about the milestone. So my milestone is I just registered my business the beginning of November. You were speaking about emails and so on,
Mhm.
but I wanted to know what is the best medium to advertise. Like I said, right now I use WhatsApp. So
Mhm.
I do have like a Facebook page or IG page or so. So what is
Mhm.
the best medium as I just started? Forgive me, my foot pause. What is the best medium for me to use to, let other people know
So
about my
so
business?
that's not a straightforward question, and that's something we'll talk about on Monday as well. But it really
Okay.
depends on your business. It depends on your clients, who are your ideal clients, and where they are for you to decide where you need to show up. Because don't just assume it's Facebook. Um, which is what everybody assumes, but it depends on where your clients are because some people don't even need to be on social media, right? So that is a very broad question, and that's something we're going to really dive into on Monday when we talk about marketing and sales.
Because I have a
Yeah,
kind of a niche market. It came out of
right.
coming out of the whole idea of lockdown and stuff. So I cook. So I just started
Okay.
on a Friday, and now people ask me to go ahead and do on a weekend and so on. So I was just sent out broadcast. Well, this week we're doing X, Y, and Z. So I just wanted to know, like, what is the best?
So as I said, so next week we will really dive into that question.
Okay.
Just remind me when we come back next week so that we could make sure and answer your question. But I'll take note of it as well. So when I'm doing my examples, I can actually use the business as an example as well.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
So don't
Thank
worry
you.
yourself at all.
So that's a little
Just
teaser for you, Natasha, to make sure and join us next week as well. Huh?
Of course.
Yeah. And
just
Yes,
Renee who
I will.
says
I always join.
So Renee, who
So.
says
Great.
most of her clients are on WhatsApp, right? Even though they are on WhatsApp, download their information, please, just in case your book gets lost. Not your book, your phone gets lost, or something happens to your phone, that you will still always have access to that information, right? Okay, you also have a website.
So out of this, what you're saying, like how I have my WhatsApp, get their email address and bill a
Yes.
email
Yes,
address
yes,
for them as well
and
in the event.
download the contacts that you have on your website as well, on your WhatsApp as well, just in case. Because guys, you know how we lose phone like mad, and we lose all
Okay.
kind of things, right? So, and if that's how you are connecting with your audience, then yeah, you want to make sure you have that somewhere.
All
Yeah,
right, guys,
no
it
problem.
is 6:08. Um, I mean, wow, we had a great session today.
Y'all had
Um,
a good time.
yes, yes. I think that the questions were coming in hot and
Give us
furious at
some
the end
thumbs up.
there.
Give us some thumbs up if you had a good time. If we answered the
Yes.
questions.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you so much to every one of the participants. Thank you for your questions, taking the time out, and as well the participation. Again, a special thanks to our presenters, Laddie, Awesome, Adana, Spectacular. Thank you for your information, your experience, your knowledge. I think everybody today walked away much better than they started. You know, we look forward to Wednesday. Please, guys, join us. We're gonna be having another great
Landing
session.
session.
We're gonna look at building your brand. I think that is critical. You don't want to miss Wednesday at all, right? We're on the home stretch and we're gonna finish strong for this month. All right, on Wednesday, we're gonna have Sajad. Some of you are familiar with him. For the new persons, you're gonna meet him on Wednesday. But please, guys, join us. You don't wanna miss this one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you guys again on Wednesday. And of course, we're on the home stretch, guys. We only have what, 3 sessions again to go? 2 or 3? Let's finish strong. Let's all finish together. Have a great evening, everyone. See you. Yes, I see your thumbs up, Natasha.
Bye, everyone.
All right, guys, take care on Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Wow.